Hey guys, it's Mr. C here, and I'm going over your lesson for Find the Part of the Whole lesson. So for Cap, this is going to be your Monday lesson. For ACNA, this is your Thursday lesson. So we're going to start with our warm-up. Mara attempted 43 free throws during basketball practice. She made 25 of her shots and missed the rest. What decimal and percent of the free throws did Mara miss? Okay, so we're looking for the amount that she misses. Okay, so we have how much she made. She made 25 out of 40. So we got to find how much she missed. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take 40 minus 25. Okay, that's the 25 shots she made out of the total shots she did. So when we subtract, we're going to get 15 shots missed. Okay, then now that I have the shots missed, I'm going to take the missed shots, which is 15. I'm going to place it over the total shots, which was 40. I'm going to reduce my fraction by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 5. And then I'm going to get 3 over 8. So I need to find the decimal and the percent. So some of you are pretty smart and you already know what 3/8 is as a decimal. And if you don't, here's how you would figure it out. You would just set up a division problem quickly, and you would take your numerator, put it on the inside, and the denominator becomes your divisor on the outside. We can't put 8 into 3, so we're going to have to add a decimal and add a 0 at the end. And we'll just do our long division like normal. 8 goes into 30 3 times without going over. Subtract away 24. We're left with 6. Bring down another 0. Okay, next we're going to take 8 times 7 to get 56. Just subtract away. You're left with 4. Add another 0. Bring it down. And we'll take 8 going into 40. That's going to be exactly 5 times. All right, happy face because we're done. So our decimal is here, our quotient, which is 0 and 375 thousandths. So we have our decimal, hooray. That's the decimal. Now to take it to a percent, all we have to do is take our decimal and we multiply by 100. Okay, when we do that, that's the same as moving our decimal over 2 times. So my percent is going to be 37 and 5/10%, or easily said as 37.5%. All right, time for the real deal lesson here. Find the part of the whole. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is a part of a whole. Okay, a part of a whole is something that is a portion of an entire thing. So the part is the number following the word is, the whole is the number following the word of, and percent refers to the number with the percent sign. So take a look at this. This will help us out a lot. On the top of the first fraction, I want to put the word part. And I'm going to put the word is. And you'll see what this works like when we put it into context. In the denominator, I'm going to write the word whole. Okay, and this makes sense because you guys know what a fraction is. Whoops, I spelled whole wrong. Too excited. We'll put the word of here. Okay, in the next fraction over, we're going to put the percent sign. and then we're going to put the total, which is 100. You know what a percent is. It's a part over 100. Okay, and this is our total. Okay, these labels up here are really going to help us because when we get to our questions, it'll tell us exactly where we need to put these numbers. What we're going to do with these numbers once we have them is we're going to find out what number are we going to multiply by to find the missing piece. Okay, so for our example here, use the circle graph. Suppose there are 300 students at York Middle School. Determine the number of students that have chips as a snack. So we're going to go over here onto our circle graph, and it shows that the chips are 18% of the students. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our setup over here. The 100 is always going to be down here. It's always going to go here because we're talking about the percent on this side. Okay, and we have a percentage of kids right here, 18%. So with the 18% over 100, and then we're going to look back in our problem. Our problem says that we've got a total of 300 students at York Middle School. So that's going to be the whole group. Okay, and we're missing the total number of kids that have picked chips. We want to know how many out of 300. So what we're doing is we're finding 18% of 300. Okay, so this is what we do. We have to think. We're going to make an equivalent fraction here. We already know how to do these equivalent fractions, but we're going to do it, it looks like a little bit backwards. We're going to start with this 100. We're going to think, what times 100 will get me 300? We're going to multiply by 3 to get to 300, correct? So it would make sense that we would take 18% times 3 as well to get our missing number. Okay? So 18 times 3 is going to give me 54. And this 54 is going to show us how many kids out of 300 picked chips. Okay, so this number here on the bottom, remember, this was the total chips, or sorry, the total kids. And this missing number were the number of chip kids. Okay, and then our percentage, this is the percent of chip kids. And then this 100 was the total. Mr. C, but I don't understand. The problem says there's 300 total, but you're saying 100 is the total. Right, because in a percentage is a part over 100. So when we have a percentage like this, we have to remember that that's saying 18% out of 100%. And what we have to do is set up an equivalent fraction to get the actual number and amount of kids. Okay, so our answer is 54 students. Okay, let's check out these guys. Okay. Use the following scenario for questions 1 and 2. The cafeteria at Middleton Middle School surveyed 575 students about their favorite food. Determine the number of students that responded for each of the following. Okay, so it says chicken, 8%. So I'm going to set up my two fractions. The first one is the percent over the total, one that I'm working on right now. I know that it's going to be 8% over 100. So I'm working on that one first. This guy, the part of the whole, well, how many kids do we have here? It says there's a total of 575. So it's going to work very similarly to the last problem. But I run into a slight problem here. Nothing times 100 is going to give me 575. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reduce this fraction that we have here. Okay, I'm going to divide by 2 for both, sorry, I'm going to divide by 4 for both of these. If I divide this and this by 4, 8 divided by 4 is going to leave me with 2. 100 divided by 4 is going to leave me with 25. So I just rewrote my percentage fraction to 2 over 25. Now I can do some magic here. I can multiply 25 times 23 to get 575. So I'll simply just take 2 times 23 to get how many kids like chicken. Okay, 2 times 23 is going to give me 46. So my answer is 46 kids that pick chicken. All right, now let's do the same thing, but with the burgers. 20% of the kids like burgers. So we're going to set up our second fraction first. It's 20% out of 100. 20% out of 100. And then we have our missing number, the total amount of kids that like burgers out of the total of everybody that was asked, which is 575. Again, we run into this problem. Nothing times 100 is going to get me 575. What I want to do this time, I'm going to reduce again. Okay, but this time I want to reduce by 20. I'm going to divide this number by 20. I'm going to reduce this number by 20. 20 divided by 20 is going to leave me with 1. 100 divided by 20 is going to give me 5. I'm reducing this so that way I can have something in the denominator that I can multiply by a magic number to get 575. Okay, in this case, that magic number is going to be 115. So I need to multiply 1 times 115, which is clearly 115. And I'll get my answer of 115 kids that picked the burger. Okay, so I've got a couple more questions I want to try with you. And then we'll leave you to try your homework on your own. Okay, so take a minute, pause your video, and then I'll go over how to find these answers. So push pause, try these on your own, and then hit unpause, and we will go over it. All right, you have unpaused the video, ready to go over these answers. Okay. Find 30% of 80. So what we do is we put our percentage over 100, and we have our mystery number, which would be this one. This one would be the one that was blank to start with, over 80. So what we'd have to do is we would reduce our 30% over 100% to 3 over 10. Take 3 times 8 to get 24, 10 times 8 to get that 80, right? We had to figure out 10 to 80 first. Then we'll get 24 out of 80, which means there's 24. So 30% of 80 means 24. Okay, we could put this in a way where we're saying, hey, what is 30% of $80? Okay, 30% of $80 would be $24. Okay, same with number 4. Find 32% of 60. This could be any situation. Okay, I like to think about money. Everybody loves to think about money. In this case, what we'd have to do some fancy stuff. Okay, so 32% of 60. I'd set up 32 over 100, like always. And then the thing is no matter how I reduce this guy, it's not going to give me a pretty number to multiply by to get to 60. So what we had to do was, when we had our denominator of 25 after reducing, what we had to do was we just simply took 60 divided by 25 to figure out what number would multiply, right? We set up 25 times what number equals 60. Okay, and the way that we would do that is we would just say, look, let's take 60 divided by 25, and we'll get that mystery number we were looking for before. So we set that up here. We end up getting 2.4 as the multiplier. So we would take 25 times 2.4 to get 60. So we'll take our numerator from reducing 8 times 2.4 to get that part of the whole that we're looking for. Okay, when we do that, 8 times 2.4, that's going to give me 19.2. This one was a real doozy. So we got to set it up 0.55% of 220. Yikes. So we had to do this thing that, we rarely ever will do, where we put a decimal as a numerator of a fraction. We're just setting up some way to make equivalent numbers. So in this case, we are going to get rid of it by the end. Okay, we're not going to leave it as a fraction as our answer. So in this case, it's okay. So what we do is our 0.55 over 100, like we know how to do to set up that percentage, over our mystery number over 220, the total. So what we do, we reduce this fraction. Okay, if we divide both of these guys, 0.55 and 100, and we divide by 5 for both of them, just to reduce it, make it a little easier for us to get our answers, we'll end up getting 11 hundredths over 20, 0.11 over 20. So now we've got to do this work of this denominator. 20 times what will get us 220? 20 times 11 will get us that 220. So we're going to take 0.11 times 11. When we do that, we put our work down here on the bottom. 0.11 times 11, we do our work, we'll end up getting 1 and 21 hundredths as our answer. Okay, that one was tricky, but you just have to know your decimals stuff. You got to know your rules with decimals. How is it going to work? Okay, it'll work the same way. We just have trickier numbers up in our numerators and trickier numbers with reducing the fraction. Okay, it'll still work the same way. You just got to be careful. This guy was a little different, a little more interesting. So it's 275% of 4. Holy moly. Okay, so this still is going to work the same way. We set up the percentage the same way we normally would. 275% is still going to be over 100. Okay. So 275 over 100 with mystery number blank over 4. Because that's our total of 4. So what we've got to do is we've just got to think, hey, we got to go a little bit backwards on this. We're making equivalent fractions. We can make equivalent fractions by multiplying, or in this case, even dividing. So we can take 100 divided by 25 this time to get to that 4. So in this case, we take 275 divided by 25. That'll leave us with 11. Okay, so our answer would be 11. All right, now for our last two. Of the 300 sheep in a flock, 30% are white. What is the total number of white sheep in the flock? So we've got 30% over 100, just like always. And then the total is 300. When we set up, we have a blank here where the 90 is showing. But all we do is write our equivalent fraction, 100 times 3 to get 300, 30 times 3 to get 90. Our answer would be there is 90 white sheep in the group. Okay, and last but not least is this one, the money. Show me the money. All right, here we go. So the original price of a pair of shoes is $42. It's the original price. That's the original total. The sales price is 20% off of the original price. What is the discount? So what we do, we take this 20%, we put it over 100, just like always. Then we've got our total. The original total was $42. So what we've got to do here is we've got to figure out what number to multiply to get to 42. So we reduce our fraction, 20 divided by 20 again, 100 divided by 20 to get this magic 1/5. Okay, it's an equivalent fraction for our percentages. So what we do is we take 5 and we divide 42 by it to figure out what number to multiply along the bottom. 5 times what would give me 42? It's going to be 8 4/10. And we found that by setting up our division. So we're going to take 1 times 8 4/10 as well to get this 8 4/10 for the discount. The discount is $8.40. Okay. All right. Everybody, you've got a little bit of homework tonight, and very good luck on your homework. Thanks for watching. Check you later. Saving